All right. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much once again for tuning back into the channel, for watching this. This video is going to be specifically geared towards understanding the retest and the difference between a good and a bad retest. Um, this is truly an art. This is truly human emotion playing out through fundamentals within economies and within different currencies in different countries all over the world, collectively happening at a specific time. And the way that I look at these markets is when things happen, we as humans can either choose to react to it or we can choose to respond based off the reactions of these things that are happening on the charts. So one of the things that I'm going to be breaking down is essentially every single one of the retests on this specific currency pair, the Australian dollar to the New Zealand dollar. I'm also going to be going through another chart just to give you some on the fly examples. I'm going to keep this a little bit shorter so that way you can come back to this and rewatch it if you need to, just for any further clarification as to what a real retest looks like, when to enter, um, and also looking at what the candlestick formations are going to really look at. Because to be honest, all of this is really about regions. It's all about the zones, as you can clearly see because of the way that structure is broken down on this chart in front of you. This was clearly a high support, a high resistance level, right? This bottom one here, very, very high level of support and resistance as well previously. So these levels have been played off of multiple times. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, right? It looks like this is a strong area. And then again up here, this looks like a strong area, strong area, strong areas. So every single one of these retests, I'm going to go in depth on everything as well too. And I'm going to be breaking this down on the 15-minute as well as the 5-minute for even more detail for every single one of these yellow circles that I'm about to draw to indicate where the retests took place and to basically start within this trend right here, because this is essentially where we'd be trapping price and understanding where to get in and where to get out. So that would be one of the first retests. And then all the way in here would be another one. This one. This one as well. As we work our way up. There's also one there. It may not look like there's one there, but there's also one there. And then currently we're trapped right here between these two levels. So let's go a little bit more in detail on this. So I'm going to drop down to the 15-minute time frame and go back to one of the first retests. Now, this might be hard to tell, but this was actually a loss of 25 pips. But if you're familiar with the strategy and if you're familiar with actually what goes down, you'd know that we use a 30 pip stop loss no matter what. No matter what. So even to look at this chart and say, yeah, sure, price was a ceiling, test, back away. Came into the region, came into the zone, backed away. Came up and above, but closed below eventually. This does not count as a break and a retest. And if anything, what we would be doing is moving our zones up here because it created a higher level of resistance. But for the point of explanation purposes, I'm just going to leave that one alone for now. But as we can clearly see, price made a huge impulsive move, closed below or closed above the zone, pardon me, and started to make its way down to look for that initial retest after the breakout, but it actually continued on with the movement. All right, and then this took about how many? That was about 10 hours and 45 minutes for this to actually play around all this choppiness for an actual retest to occur, right? And then this is crazy too because I can even drop down to 5-minute and go all the way back to this first level here and show you. So this is the first level, right? So we see price come up, and then we see a huge candle go down in here. As soon as it looks to hit the zone, that's when I would essentially enter, like towards the middle of the zone, because we always want to enter off of the middle of the zone because it gives us not only our parameters, but of course, stop loss no matter what. So if I actually draw that up there, let's say we're doing 30 pips. So just for clarification, we had this entire range of where price could move and where price could actually show that it was responding. It backed away from our stop and immediately went 30 pips in profit. Massive candles. So yeah, sure, it doesn't need to be a perfect retest, but it does need to go into the zone, show signs of backing away from it or moving away from it or tapping off of it or however you'd like to say it. But in order for a trade to be accurate and in order for a retest to be solid and for it to be safe to enter, you need to see a close of either a 5 minute, a 15 minute, or a 30 minute candlestick outside or towards the direction you called it in. So we should never be entering trades based off of what it's doing in the zone. We should see what price does after it leaves the zone, whether it's going to continue lower and then close below and keep going, because then there's no entry because there would be no retest. But if we see price moving up, hesitating right above the zone, and then making an impulsive candle, that would be essentially our indicator from the candles to perform the entrance. Back up to the 15 minute. Let's do the next one here. Now, a lot of people also ask me, okay, sure, like we have a zone that was previously ceiling, it became a floor. All right. And then it also became a floor again over here. And if, let's say, for example, price was coming down, why would we be looking for a short position? We would want to see price actually break through this floor and create a new ceiling for shorting. We want to see price break a ceiling and become a floor for buying, for going long on a position. So the strategy basically outlines that you should always look for these retests on the lower time frames, and it could be multiple times, so you could get multiple entries. So for the long position, show you, there would be one, there would be one, and there would be one. So imagine getting 3 entries off of one single currency pair, off of one single zone. This is just another application of the strategy. Remember, this isn't mandatory. This isn't written in the rule book. This is trade. When we get to a point where we can understand our emotions when we're doing this, that's all that really needs to matter. It's not about what actually happens on the charts, it's about how we choose to respond to it with our brokerage accounts, whether that be a live or whether that be a demo account, to choose to react from situation in the market is going to directly either impact your family or it's going to directly impact your experience as a trader. So going forward, we want to make sure that we're capitalizing on each trade fairly. And this is essentially like the back testing process as well too, just to give you an idea of where we would enter these trades. So for these ones, this is what I really, really like because we can notice now that the market is trending in an upwards fashion. It's basically like walking upstairs, and these are like the best trades to get in. Okay. So this is the previously indicated level of resistance. I drew it from, and again, I drew everything on the 1 hour. I drew it from the tip of that wick to the body of the candle on the 1 hour. It's going to look different on the 15-minute, but the point is we want to get our zones right. Okay, we want to get our zones right on the 1 hour, because you see, for this particular one, I went from wick to body of the candle, and look what ended up happening. Price broke, came back to retest, and I'm sure if we used the Fibonacci confirmations as well, we would see, yeah, directly at the 50 and even further. What is that? Yeah, somewhat close to the 78.6. Nonetheless, we're just looking at retests and entries right now. So again, when we go down to a 15-minute time frame, we can see that it took, after initially breaking out, it took 22 hours and 30 minutes for the retest to happen. So it just gives you an idea. Okay, well, it almost took a full entire day for a retest to actually happen on the 1 hour time frame, 15-minute time frame, right? Once you do take it, and we can examine this pattern as well too. Look, price comes back into this zone. Here, I'll move this out of the way for a second. After price is a ceiling over here, it breaks and it comes back towards this area. This is where I'd be really paying attention to it. I see price make a few impulsive candles. I see price going in here. Oh, it kind of tapped off. It kind of tapped off, but there's no exact entry into the zone, right? And then it looks like it's going up. You're like, oh no, I missed it. And then finally, price, boom, wicked inside of the zone. Now it doesn't need to be accurate, that accurate. It doesn't need to be like, oh, I need to catch it at the tip of the wick. If you can do that, God bless your heart. And congratulations. Maybe you got lucky, maybe you didn't. But the point is, after you see a close of one of these candles above the zone, that's my indicator to enter. That's, again, on the rules. If continuation of an uptrend, which is what is happening currently on the chart right here, we wait for a break of resistance, which is the ceiling, which happened. We wait for a retest where price closes above the previous level of resistance. The second candle after that happened is it closing above, and then that third candle, zero drawdown. I immediately went 10 to 15 pips. Immediately go 10 to 15 pips. You set your 2 pip stop profit. It never hits your 2 pip stop profit. You collect 30 pips and you keep that order in place to ride the rest of the trend, which of course continues up for hundreds of pips afterwards. All right. I hope this is all making sense. Another example is, this is a ceiling over here. This is a ceiling that's being continually tested. It's being tested here. It's being tested here. Okay, so there's multiple retests. So that's what this would look like. Right here. I'll make these smaller. Right here. Right here. Because again, to break this down even further, here, I'll wait for this one. Understand the true art of a retest, you need to back test it. It's going to happen on the fly, and you're going to notice that every single time you're looking at these charts and every single time you're looking at a retest, reaction off these zones, it doesn't matter what happens. All that matters is price goes back into your zone and follows these specific rules that are given on the chart. All given here. how to twin trade, an example of how to do it to the upside. When we're looking for a continuation of a downtrend, it's as long as you're connected to the Telegram and as long as you're consistently being on these videos and watching exactly how this is broken down in detail and watching how it's exactly structured out. It's so simple the way it can be broken down. So to recap, I'm just going to run through it real quick. So this was the floor, this was the ceiling, this was the support, this was the resistance. Price broke above, entered into the zone. Entry did not hit your stop loss. 8 pips, you still had 3 pips of stop or safety net left. Continue to end. When a floor is becoming a floor multiple times, that's multiple confirmations of entry. You could have capitalized and caught 30 pips here, 30 pips here, 30 pips here, right? And then this is where the trend really starts to take off. And this is where you can begin to stack your orders and eventually increase your lot size to turn up the volume and build your compound throughout wealth on these charts. Okay, so this is a ceiling, broke the ceiling, became a floor. This is a ceiling, broke the ceiling, became a floor, right? Previous ceiling, broke the ceiling, became a floor. This was a ceiling, broke the ceiling, became a floor. And I know that sounds redundant. Now we're kind of trapped because this is the newfound ceiling and this is the previous level of support. Now we're either waiting for this to happen. We want price to see a move to the downside to break this previous level of a floor. I want it to close below and then make its way back up into this zone. Now I can put it in the middle, but I always like to put it at the top just to give you that added confirmation. And then we can see that continuation. Maybe this is a shift of momentum, and maybe, just maybe, we can see this price move from here all the way back down to that lowest low for about 180 pips, 200 pips, 285. So this is trading, guys, and that's how I look at it. The next thing that we would either be looking for is price to be doing this factor because price is a ceiling and it becomes a floor. It's a ceiling and becomes a floor. It's a ceiling. We're waiting for price now to just break above this ceiling, close, go back into this ceiling as a newfound floor, and then continue on with the uptrend and just continue on and continue on and continue on. Easy to follow, easy to understand, just being real, raw, authentic, and honest and everything. So that's pretty much it. Again, guys, stay connected with the trading chat. Stay connected on these charts. Keep drawing everything up. I'm always open for everyone to send me their charts, to send me their back tests, to send me the retests, send me what you're projecting, send me your charts, send me anything that you need, questions. I'm always here to help. I'm on this journey together. I'm always a student of the game and I'll be forever learning. So again, I thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was the art of the retest and you can never fully master this. Couple key things, couple key takeaways that I want to leave you with are number one, there's no such thing as a perfect retest, only a retest taken perfectly. The second is that when a retest happens, you react to or you respond to the way price reacts. You never force a trade. You never force the candles to go places that they're not supposed to because you let these things happen as they will. Let the markets unfold and you can be able to watch and see if it follows these rules that are in. It doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. Even better. Okay. everybody had some breakthroughs on this. You're able to watch this over and over again. I know I kept 20 minutes. So thank you again. Stay tuned to the Telegram. I'll keep these videos coming. Let me know about any future video ideas. I'm always open to these types of videos on, for example, drawing zones, or for example, back testing, or any of the above for the price trap strategy. Will Simon signing out. I appreciate you guys once again jumping on. Take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Bye for now.